Sarvaitam Sarvapura Mariyanaitam Krishna Sri Radha Krishna Pada Saranaka Sri Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagate Gopishya Gopika Kanda Kanda Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwamam Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapurucha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patinanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Krishna Putare Srimate Krishna Nama Acharya Pradanitai Kripa Pradani Gora Katadamdai Madhudanamdai Mukam Kuroti Vantu Pangula Green Yatri Padamam Mande Sri Guru Siddhartha Paramam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you for coming. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 70, chapter entitled Lord Krishna's Daily Activities. Text number 39. Please repeat after me. Jivasya yatsmaranto vimokshanam. Jivasya ya samsarato vimokshanam. Na janato narta vachakcharirata. Na janato narta vachakcharirata. Lila varahi swayasha pradipakam. Lila varahi swayasha pradipakam. Prajalayat tvam tam aham prapadye. Prajalayat tvam tam aham prapadye. Jivasya ya samsarato vimokshanam. Na janato narta vachakcharirata. Leelavat rahi swayasha pradipakam. Pravalayat tvam tam aham prapadye. Jivasya ya samsarato vimokshanam. Na janato nartha vachakcharirata. Leelavatarahi swayasha pradipakam. Prajalayat tvam tam aham prapadye. Prabhuji, can you please invite? Jivasya ya samsarato vimokshanam. Na janato narta vachakcharirata. Leelavatarahe swayasha pradipakam. Prajalayat tam aham prapadye. Jivasya samsarato vimokshanam. Na janato narta vachakcharirata. लीलावातरेष्वा यशा प्रदीपकम् प्राज्वालय त्वम् अहं प्रपद्ये. Mataji, want to try? जीवस्य संसरतो विमोक्षणम् न जानतो न कल्पशरीरताम् लीलावतरेष्व यशा प्रदीपकम् प्रज्वालय त्वम् अहं प्रपद्ये. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the living being caught in the cycle of birth and death does not know how he can be delivered from the material bodies, which bring him so much trouble. But you, the Supreme Lord, descend to this world in various personal forms, and by performing your pastimes, you illuminate the soul's path with the blazing torch of your fame. Therefore, I surrender unto you. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, Narada said, in the bodily concept of knowledge, everyone is driven by the material desires, and thus everyone develops new material bodies one after another in the cycle of birth and death. Being absorbed in such a conception of existence, one does not know how to get out of the engagement of the material body. Out of your causeless mercy, my Lord, you descend to exhibit your different transcendental pastimes, which are illuminating and full of glory. Therefore, I have no alternative but to offer my respectful obeisance unto you. My dear Lord, you are the supreme Param Brahman, and your pastimes as an ordinary human are another tactical resource, exactly like a play on the stage, in which an actor plays parts different from his own acting. Hare Krishna. No Tamil translation. I don't read the book. I can do the book. What I do? Now this is book 4. This is yeah, correct. You get the next book, right? Same one, yes. Yes. I got the next. This is part 4, chapter 10, part 4. So, so this is this verse is a prayer offered by Narada Muni to Dwarkadish Krishna. Okay? So a little bit about this verse. Okay? It's a very basic Krishna consciousness. So anyway, worth meditating upon because this is the situation we are in. This Narada Muni is describing the material nature in which the living entity is being bewildered by so many material desires. Because of these desires, they take one body after another, one body after another. Once in class, I think somebody asked me, why, why Krishna is unfair? Why he bring us back in this world of suffering? So I gave this reply. The reply is this one. The reply I gave is that you come back to this material world and you ask for material body because you get a material body. Therefore, you will enjoy the 4 free gifts: birth, death, disease, and old age. Huh? Krishna doesn't want you to come back. Krishna wants you to go back to Godhead. But what to do when you the way you live your life when you come to the point of death? Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, text 6, very important verse. You can meditate upon this verse. Yam yam bhavis parabhava kyajit ante kilivaram tam tam eva eti kampiya sadutat bhava bhavita. Whatever you think of at the time of death, that you will attain without fail. So the question here comes is like, what will you think of when at the time of death? You will think of the things that you have been obsessed from the moment you were born until that point of death. What you've been engaging your mind in, what you've been obsessing about. As you can see, every human being in this world today, they're obsessed over something or other, something material. Either it's money, either it's fame, it's name, or some if I get this, I'll be happy. and everything to do with material things. But none of them, almost none of them, only when they are forced to, they will think about Krishna, they think about God, they will ask questions like, why am I suffering? Huh? I don't want to suffer, but suffering comes to me. Why is that? Huh? They are forced to. Willingly, they don't take to the process of Atato Brahman Jigyasa, inquiring to the absolute. They don't take to the process. So in that class, I explained that when death comes, the opportunity comes. The Yamadutas come and say, okay, you want to come back to this material world again, or you want to go back home, back to Korea. You will most probably answer one no. I'm not satisfied yet. I didn't enjoy this. I didn't enjoy that. I want to come back. So you come back again. Take birth again. Again birth. That is this whole. Again when death comes, hey, hello, everybody, you want to go back? No, I didn't enjoy it. Still, I still will come back. Then come back again. Who is forcing you to come back? You are the one. Nobody is forcing. Krishna definitely doesn't want you to come back. He wants you to come back. Oh, quickly come back. I got too many open positions in Vaikuntha for to play, to do things. You want to stay there, play there. What I can do, you know. So Narada is explaining this point, and he's glorifying Krishna because Krishna is so impatient. He cannot wait for us to come back. By nature's way, we will come to the conclusion that our only real self-interest is actually the lotus feet of Krishna. By nature's way. But when will that happen? That will, you have to take 8,400,000 species of birth. I don't know how many times for each birth. When will that process come? It's a very slow process. So Krishna is impatient. He says, I don't want. I will come. I'll come and I'll remind all his my part and parcel about his real constitutional position in this material in the Vaikuntha planets. Therefore, so Narada Muni here is glorifying Dwarkadish Krishna. He says, you come here to perform activities simply to bestow mercy upon all living entities, simply just to bless them, to remind them in the soul of the heart of their soul, just to remind them. He comes again and again and again. He comes as Lord Rama, he comes as Krishna, comes as Vamana, comes as Varaha, comes as Matsya. These are the ones that we know of. These avatars, Krishna comes, these are the ones that we know of, that we heard of. The ones that, great sages, they know, but they haven't revealed yet, that we don't know. Okay. So many avatars. This is like the Leela avatar. Then, of course, Krishna is Purusha avatar. Then you have the Guna avatar, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu. Then you have Manvantara avatar. Each age, the Lord comes in a certain form to take charge of that age. Manvantara avatar. And then you have the Shakti Avesh avatar. Shakti Avesh avatar is like you cannot calculate who are his pure devotees that he empowered to come and to re-establish religion, to all this, he said. So Narada Muni is glorifying Krishna. So this is the verse. It's actually very, very nice. I picked this verse because it's a very important verse simply to remind all of us Hare Krishna devotees, because we forget. Believe me, we forget. Because there's so many distractions around, and just to be reminded of this fact is so important for our spiritual life, our sadhana, our progress. So anyway, this is this verse. So let's talk about this chapter. This chapter title is Lord Krishna's daily activities. It's actually very interesting. This one talks about, since Srila Prabhupada, he said in his Krishna book, said, please meditate, especially this chapter, meditate upon the narrations in this chapter. Why? Because Krishna is showing by example how one should live his life. From the very moment you get up in the morning, what you do. So it's a lot of details here. I won't go into it. You can read on your own. It's a very short chapter. But I have to say that these activities are performed in Dwarpa Yoga. This what is mentioned here. But the essence of what he performed when he got up in the morning is given by our acharyas. and it is embedded in the culture of Krishna consciousness. It's already there. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do what Krishna did. There it's mentioned that every morning Krishna will wake up before sunrise. Before Brahma Muhurta time, you'll get up. You'll do a lot of things. You'll do his Gayatri, you'll do obligation to fires, you'll pray for his forefathers, you do all that. And then he will also give millions of cows to the Brahmas every day. So the question is, we got no cow lah, how to give? Don't worry. The point here being is this culture of giving charity, it is already built into our Krishna consciousness. Why? Because whenever you cook and offer to the Supreme Lord, that is offering to the Supreme Lord. That is number one already. The number two, the Vedic culture that we should be doing. If everybody can do this, I'm telling you, any place where this happens, there won't be any more crime. There won't be any pucharuma. There won't be anybody stealing anything. No, you know why? The fear level will drop dramatically. Crime are committed because of fear. If you no money, go to get to buy food, all because of fear. If every one of us can do this, means I tell you, this Penang Island will be Vaikuntha. I'm telling you, almost. You know why? This thing that is mentioned here is every day when you cook the food you offer to Krishna as prasadam, when it becomes prasadam, before you eat, you go out to your house and you announce, anybody hungry, please come and eat. Anybody hungry, please come and eat. Every day you do this means, number one is teaching the lila, number one. Number two, whoever really in need, somebody really in need, that person will come to thank you. Today I was so much in fear, I don't know where to go and get food. Now you're offering food, at least for today I got no fear. I can have one good meal and I go. Okay? So it's there. So actually today I would like to talk about one part, one verse there actually in the beginning of this chapter. It is stated there that when Krishna wakes up, that the rooster will crow. Dwarka got rooster lah. To announce that this is 3 hours before sunrise. 3 hours. You should get up before 3 hours before sunrise. Okay? So when the rooster crowed, it is described here that Rukmini Devi, she also woke up, and in her mind she was cursing the crow. You terrible crow, like you every day you crow, and my Lord will get up and you will go away. The queen. So this verse is Rukmini Devi, but this was happening 16,108 times because Krishna has expanded himself. 16,100 beds with his wife. So all of them would curse, this crow. Let it crow, because you not a crow, sorry, rooster. Because you crow, my Lord now is getting up and doing his duties, and also Rukmini Devi will curse the Brahma Murta. She will curse you, Brahma Murta, because of you, my Lord will leave me now. Now he's leaving already. He left the bed, he's going to take his bath, he's going to do his activity, and then after that he's going to go to office and I'm going to see him again. For too long already, actually, 8 hours work, and for her it's like millennial, so she's cursing. So I had a class by one Shelford devotee in Sydney, Australia. His name is Gangeshwar. He's a very famous devotee. He's a preacher, he's a book distributor. So he was making this point, he was making a very interesting point. He said that most people, innocent people, when they read something like this, they will read that Rukmini is cursing the rooster, cursing Brahma Murta. Some people will follow this. Not some people. Most people in this world today, they follow this. They will follow the idea that, this Brahma Murta time, very bad time, you don't get up and sleep. And this is what people are doing now. People are sleeping. People are sleeping. Harikrishna will work. So the lesson here is to understand that is that personalities like Rukumuni Devi, all the 16,108 witnesses in Dwarka, they are very highly exalted devotees. You cannot compare yourself to them. This is very, very dangerous. This is imitating a pure devotee. Last week I told a story about the dangers of imitating. Anybody heard not the class? You didn't hear the class. So no point now, all this. Right? Uh, anyway, I won't tell. You want to know the thing, you go see a YouTube class. So the dangers of imitating a pure devotee. We can follow pure devotees in their pursuit of devotional life. Anything they do in pursuit of devotional life, yes. But to imitate them in their exalted position as a pure devotee, we are not supposed to do. Good example is this. Rukmini Devi is cursing the rooster and cursing Brahma Murta. Why? Because she has already achieved the perfection of human life. She has already achieved Krishna Prema. Her husband is Krishna. La. Somehow, how much more perfection you want? She's already achieved. For those who have achieved the goal, you don't have to follow the sadhana, the rules and regulations. You don't have to. The example here given is that if you send a small child to school, the small child, they will force the child to learn their ABC. A is apple, B is ball, C is cat, D is donkey. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? The child has to go through the sadhana. This is called sadhana. He got to go through the exercise. A is apple, B is ball, he is got to. So the purpose behind all these exercises is what? To learn how to read and count, isn't it? Once you know how to read and count, you still need to know not A is apple, B is ball. No, isn't it? So similarly, for those of us who have not achieved Krishna Prema yet, not achieved the position of Rukmini Devi and all the princesses in Dwarka, we have to follow the sadhana, but we have to follow rules and regulations. Very dangerous to imitate. Don't imitate. So this morning I was reading Canto 7, Chapter 7, text 24. Very nice purport about this only. There in the purport it says that what do you call the example of Haridas Thakur. The example of Haridas Thakur and the example of Narada Muni. The example of Narada Muni is the question was asked. The question was asked, isn't it wrong on the part of Narada Muni to take a pregnant woman, a single pregnant woman that is the mother of Prahlad Maharaj, Mother Kayadu? She was pregnant. Narada Muni saved her from the hands of King Indra. Okay, there's one scene where King Indra came to kidnap this Kayadu because she was pregnant with Prahlad. King Indra did not know this Prahlad was a pure devotee. King Indra thought this was going to be a future demon. So King Indra's plan was to kidnap this wife of Hiranyakashipu, and when she gives birth to the child, he will kill the child. So that was King Indra's plan. So Narada Muni came to the scene and rescued her. He said, "You cannot do this. She is innocent. You cannot do this to her. Even though she is pregnant, even though it might be a demon, you cannot do this." So Narada Muni saved her. And what Narada did was he took her to Narada's ashrama. So the question was asked, is it right, is it not an aparad for a brahmachari? Narada is a brahmachari. Brahmacharis, they are not supposed to be in a room with a woman, even if that woman is their mother. There is a rule. So the question was asked, isn't it wrong for Narada to have this pregnant woman alone by herself, serving him in a hut? He was giving her shelter. He was taking care of her. So the question was asked. So the answer came was, Narada Muni is not a common man. Narada Muni is a highly elevated Vaishnava devotee. He's got full control over his senses. So for one who has full control over his senses, he can do something like this safely. And then another example given is Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was sitting in a hut chanting his rounds and he was approached by a prostitute in the middle of the night. Isn't that wrong? He should have run away from the place. He should not have associated with a woman. On top of that, a prostitute. Isn't that wrong? So the answer comes again saying, Haridas Thakur is a highly elevated Vaishnava devotee of the Lord. He has full control over his senses, therefore he can associate. And the result of that was what? That prostitute became a pure devotee. So that is the sign there. Huh? So similarly here also, you can see that these queens of Dwarka, even though yes, they curse, but they are cursing out of pure love for Krishna. This is not out of some mundane anger or some irritation like your luck. You know, we will curse all out for a lot of reasons. They are cursing because their very life, the heart of their soul is leaving them. They cannot bear to be away from their husband, who is Dwarkadish Krishna. So it is explained here that after Krishna finishes all his morning duties, he does his prayers, he does his Gayatri, he does Arti, he does his chanting, everything does. He gives charity to the Brahmanas. He pleases everyone in the palace, the maid servants, all that pleases them. He makes them happy. Every day is an everyday affair. Not once in a while when some festival comes. No, every day he does it. So it is described that Krishna will leave the palace and he will leave with such great difficulty. This is a daily affair. No? Because why? No, the wife don't want him to leave. They will do all kinds of things. No, you cannot go. You must stay. No. This one, that one. Okay, you leave. Somehow you leave. You leave. So what happens is, Krishna will have a chariot driver by the name of Daruka. The same guy who drives Krishna's, correct. Krishna's chariot in the Kurukshetra war. He's there also. So this Daruka will come, and what will happen is Krishna, Uddhava will get into the chariot and they will go to work. They got a city to run. Okay, so their office is a hall by the name of Sudharma. This Sudharma hall is from the Vaikuntha planet. From Swarga. He was stolen from Swarga and put on earth in Dwarka. So this hall is very special. Anybody entering this hall, they will not suffer from the 6 whips of material life. The 6 whips. Describe here whip. So the first whip is thirst. Second is hunger. Third is what you call third is old age. Old age, and then disease, and then illusion and madness. Madness, either madness or lamentation. These are the 6 whips. So anybody entering this hall, they will not experience these 6 whips. They will be perfectly peaceful. They won't feel hunger. They won't feel thirst. They won't feel. There is no fear of old age. There is no fear of disease. There is no illusion. They won't be bewildered, and they won't be what you call. They won't go mad. Like they will lose their anger for no reason like that. This kind of won't happen. So it was such a special hall. And it's also described that when Krishna leaves his home, 16,000 Krishna will leave their home. Can you imagine this? 16,108 Krishnas will leave their homes, and when they arrive at this hall, all these Krishna will merge into one. And one Krishna will enter the hall. Cannot imagine, huh? Cannot imagine. Anyway, it's described here like this. So he will enter the hall. When Krishna enters the hall, it is described that he is like the moon among stars. The hall is so fantastic. All the Yadavas are there. All the kings, Ugrasena will be there. All the big council would be there. So when Krishna came there, this chapter actually is the beginning of the next four chapters. It's a story. Okay. So when they came there, uh, Krishna would be greeted by brahmanas, they would say prayers, and then there would be entertainment, and those who come and dance, and there would be full who tell jokes, uh, all this. After all this, the meeting began, and they were discussing what to do with Jarasandha. This Jarasandha is becoming a very, very dangerous affair. Okay, very, very dangerous affair. So while they were discussing like that, one messenger came. One messenger came. They came to the hall and he met Krishna and he announced, he read one letter. He says, I am a messenger from your devotees, 20,000 kings who are your devotees. These 20,000 kings now, they have been kidnapped by Jarasandha and they are kept prisoner by Jarasandha. So they are appealing to you, please save us, we are your devotees. Because of our sinful activities from our past life, we are suffering now. And we have heard from the great sages that anybody taking shelter from your lotus feet, you will relieve them of their distress. So this messenger came to read this letter for Krishna. After this letter was read, immediately after that, Narada Muni came, which is this conversation. So when Narada Muni came, immediately Krishna got up and he gave offices to Narada Muni. All the other kings there also they did the same thing. Meaning what? No, they were wearing crowns. They put a crown on the ground because there is some I heard in some not class some conversation among brahmacharis. They say it is a great shame for kshatriyas to put a crown on the ground. It's a great shame for them to put their sword on the ground. But here in Shastra, he said Krishna himself wearing crown, he sees a Brahmana, he will fall at their feet, the crown will hit the ground, and his hand he will touch their feet. This is how much Krishna shows respect to Brahmanas. So when Narada Muni came, Krishna immediately greeted him, gave him a nice seat, and immediately Krishna asked, my dear Narada, you are a great celestial sage. You travel all around the world. Please tell me what are the Pandavas doing? You see, he immediately went to the Pandavas. That's the beginning of the strategy of Krishna. Krishna is a politician. The president of Indonesia was once interviewed. He was asked, who's your idol? Who do you admire? And he answered, I admire Krishna. So the reporter was shocked. Why Krishna? Because he answered, he said, because Krishna, there's called Chirde Pandai. Very Chirde Pandai. And his Chirde Pandai will be revealed in this next 4 chapters. Okay? So Krishna asked Narada immediately, how is the Pandavas doing? He did not ask, how are you doing? How your father doing? No. Immediately asked how the Pandavas are doing. So when Narada heard it, he knows Krishna is playing some game here. He's playing some game here. And he said, oh Krishna, oh okay, you want me to do this? Okay, no problem. So Narada began to narrate that, my dear Lord Krishna, your great devotees Pandavas, headed by King Yudhishthira, he wants to perform a Ashwamedha Yajna. And he is asking me to ask you, please come and attend. They will not do this Ashwamedha Yajna without your presence. Please come. So when Krishna heard this, he said, "Oh, this is very good. This is good news." So just before that, they were discussing about what? Jarasandha. Messenger came and told what? 20,000 kings who are pious devotees of Krishna now are Jarasandha's prisoners. And now Narada is saying, Yudhishthir Maharaj inviting him to come for Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay. So the whole of kings there, Ugrasena, everything, they were not interested in the Ashwamedha Yajna. They were talking about Jarasandha. This Jarasandha is a rascal that we must go and fix this guy. But Krishna had a plan. Krishna had a plan. He did not reveal it. So he was discussing with all the kings, and they were saying, no, no, we're not interested in this Ashwamedha Yajna. What Ashwamedha Yajna will do is to do with that. We got a big problem now. This Jarasandha, he's a terror fuller. So what Krishna did very intelligently, he said, okay, Krishna wants to go for the Ashwamedha Yajna. He doesn't want to waste his time with Jarasandha. He defeated it 17 times. Okay? Defeated him 17 times already. What is this? This is not a big deal. But Krishna wants to go for the Ashwamedha Yajna with a plan. So Krishna did something very, very intelligent. He asked Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, you are very wise, you're very great thinker. Please give your suggestion. Please give us your suggestion what to do now. We are all discussing about Jarasandha, and here Narada is saying, what Yudhishthira wants me to come for is Ashwamedha Yajna. What to do? So this is where this chapter ends. Okay? But I will tell you that. I will tell you what Uddhava will say, my dear Krishna, this no doubt, this Jarasandha is a big problem. Yes, it's got to be handled. But please understand that this Ashwamedha Yajna is a great opportunity. Great opportunity, because you have to understand, to perform Ashwamedha Yajna, there's a lot of ceremonies involved. Okay, and one of the ceremonies is they got to release a horse. They got to release a horse, and this horse will travel all around the world. And this what you call the representative of the person doing the Ashwamedha Yajna must go and find the horse. So this is an excuse for them to go and meet people and fulfill their desires. So this horse will go to these kingdoms where their kings have been kidnapped. So this is an opportunity for the Pandavas to come into action. Ta-da-dang. They'll come into action and they will solve the problem. They will solve all these problems, including Jarasandha. They will solve everything, and when they have all these problems resolved, all these kings they give their homage to Yudhishthira, then Yudhishthira can do this. Yeah. This is the plan. This is Krishna's plan. How is it going to happen? We have to tune in next week. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any questions? Any kelvigal? Any suggestions? Very good question. I have not mentioned that. I was thinking so. Who is praise to Allah? It's not mentioned that. But it's not mentioned in this chapter. But earlier chapters with regards to the Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan with the gopis. There's indication there. If there's no answer to this question, this is my own mental speculation now. I speculate. I might be wrong. It is in these earlier chapters of Krishna Leela in Vrindavan with the gopis. You would see that Krishna also chants, just like we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna also chants one mantra. Not Hare Krishna mantra, but he chants a mantra also. What mantra is that? All the names of the gopis. In Krishna's dream, when he sleeps at night, and he's dreaming all the gopis names. Radha, Vishakha, Lalita, Yuleka, all that is his chanting, that is his mantra. Dwarkadish Krishna, in Dwarka, the wives are complaining that when my husband is sleeping, he is dreaming of some girl. He is mentioning the girl's name. So one day, what happened was the queens of Dwarka approached Mother Rohini, Balaram's mother, to ask her, who are these girls? So she asked, what are the names? So they told this name. So she told them, these are not girls' names. These are all the cows' names in Vrindavan. Krishna's cows. What they call Simha Mukhi, Mardanga Mukhi. These are all the names of his cows, and there's millions of them in his chanting. He's calling their names in his dreams. And all the queens of Dwarka thinking also he got girlfriend, dreaming of girlfriend. No, dreaming this is his mantra. His meditation is on his pure devotees, just like what Krishna says, as my devotees meditate upon me, I meditate upon them. As they abide in me, I abide in them. In Bhagavad Gita, it says that in so many places. Alright? So this is my guess. It's not stated here in this chapter who he prays to. But I guess my intelligent guess is Krishna, he is only interested in loving reciprocation. So this loving reciprocation is this one. You think of me, you chant my name, I'll think of you, I'll chant your name. And he chants the name of his pure devotees, like the gopis,